Today, we welcome back John Shannahan of Province Mortgage Associates back to our Lender Spotlight series. Welcome, John.
Thanks so much, Dennis. It's great to be here.
Right. We are glad to have you back. And last time we talked a little bit about your extensive background in the mortgage services industry, not always on the sales side, but also operations side.
Sure. Yeah. I've worn many hats since I've been in the industry. I came into the industry as a loan processor back in 2006. Worked my way up. Made it through 2008 and 2009 and all the turmoil that we had back then. And then in 2011, I took over as operations manager of a small mortgage brokerage in Massachusetts, where I remained until right around the beginning of 2016, where I was like, I really wanted to make the move into sales. I'd gotten into the business originally to do sales, and some of kind of the environment that we were dealing with at that point of time, it made more sense to me kind of to stick the operational route. But I had an opportunity that came up with making a move over to Bank of America as a retail sales manager and to lead a team of loan officers over there. So I took that opportunity and I was with them for about a year and a half before making the move back into the broker correspondent channel. So again, it's been very fulfilling. I love being on this end. I'm very client focused. I enjoy talking to people in general. And having that background, obviously on the operational side, I think gives me a leg up over a lot of other loan officers are out there who don't know what the operational people deal with on an everyday basis. So, but it's been great. It's been fulfilling. I really enjoy being a loan officer and meeting new people, meeting new clients, and new referral partners.
And let's talk about how your diverse experience is kind of serving you well now as you sort of go into this new venture with Province Mortgage Associates.
Sure. So, a couple months ago, I made the move over to Province Mortgage Associates. They're based out of East Providence, but I'm licensed Mass, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Florida. Still the same states as I was before. But there was a great opportunity for me, along with two other individuals, to open up their first Massachusetts branch. So we are in the progress of doing that right now. I'm currently working from my home office in Metro West, Massachusetts. But really looking forward for the opportunity and looking to build and to grow as the company makes the move, more into Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. Great. And you have the sort of unique opportunity for a lot of your clients, because all they really have to do if they want to, start the process for a mortgage and they wake up at 3 a.m, all they have to do is remember your name, because you have
absolutely www.johnshannahan.com. I also have www.loansbyshanny.com, which has a little bit more of a bio on me. But again, as long as you know my name, you can get to my application. So just remember that extra N in Shanahan, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Right. So, so you listed all the states that you're licensed in. Where do you work primarily as far as?
I would say the vast majority of my business comes from the Northeast. I do dabble into Florida just because of, having snowbirds, and there's been a lot of people making the move from the Northeast into Florida over the past few years. I would say my bread and butter is primarily Massachusetts, although I do dabble, a fair amount into Rhode Island, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. There's been a lot of movement, with obviously purchase prices in Massachusetts, increasing, and people have seen, that they can get a little bit more if they're looking in New Hampshire or looking in Rhode Island or even northeastern Connecticut these days. So it's been well worth having, those opportunities for my clients. If they do choose to cross over the border, we can certainly help them right over the border.
Right. So now we're a little bit past the halfway point of 2023, and what do you see coming up in the next few months as far as market conditions?
So, we had a jobs report that came in this week. We've been kind of dealing with some of the things coming out of the Fed, the past couple months. Whereas they've been talking about, increasing the federal funds rate. They have hinted to another rate increase, which I think has put a little bit of fear in the bonds market, and we've kind of seen it accordingly with as far as the way rates have been trending. As far as, this week we've seen, a jobs report that came in a little bit higher than was expected. But if you compare it to where it was last month, the July jobs report came in like 300K more jobs than was expected. And then we got the actual report on that Friday which kind of brought it back a little bit more to earth, and the rates kind of rebounded accordingly. We think we're probably going to see maybe a little bit of that tomorrow, but again, it's kind of a fool me once attitude in some respects, that we didn't see such a deep dive into rates into the opposite territory, at least over the past couple of days. But we are kind of seeing rates mid to high sevens right now, trending a little bit upwards this week. I'm anticipating that obviously with the way we're seeing inflationary numbers coming, that we'll probably see those rates start trending downwards at some point. But again, a lot of it's kind of left up to the Fed as far as the direction that they're trending. They've been very, very hawkish as far as their decisions that they've been making. I think it's going to probably continue to be hawkish through the election.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I do see those rates probably starting to settle back down, and that we will probably within the next 12 months see something in the sixes, or even maybe potentially into the high fives.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of getting there, and just so much has been kind of stuck on the way that Powell and the Fed are basically making their decisions.
Yeah, wonderful. So this is a question that we get an awful lot to ask you guys. Since you work with so many real estate agents, without naming names, if you had to choose a real estate agent for yourself, what qualities would you consider most important?
I would say responsiveness for me is huge, setting the appropriate expectations. And obviously being very communicative. Like, you want it to be as much of a transparent process as possible. And what I look for in a real estate agent is what I want people to look in myself as far as choosing me as a loan officer.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, we're not the same profession per se, but we certainly work in tandem. You want that communicativeness. You want to know where your file is in process. Like, having a client being lost and not knowing what to do is the worst thing possible. Mm-hmm. So again, setting those appropriate expectations, being communicative, letting people know where things are. I think that's ultimately what I look for in an agent, what I would want someone to look at, at myself as far as a mortgage loan officer.
Okay. Any new or interesting loan products coming out, that mortgage products coming out that people should know about?
So we are dabbling back at least a little bit more into the adjustable rates. Say we have a halfway decent 5-1 that we've been looking at that's been pricing in the high sixes. Depends on the loan size. It may come with some points, obviously, with credit score, but with the rates, kind of being in those mid to high sevens, there's the potential there where you can save some money in the short term, depending on how long you are planning on being in that house, and even being in that loan. And in all likelihood, we might be able to refinance you out of it within the next 12 to 18 months, so long as the market kind of performs accordingly. But that's kind of been one of our big things. My office is a big Rhode Island housing buff. I know you guys don't dabble too much into Rhode Island housing, being up in Stoneham, but we're one of 4 delegated lenders in the state of Rhode Island that can do Rhode Island housing directly in-house and not have to send it off to them for a second underwrite, which is huge, because it's a huge time save. And if I have to reach out to someone on that, say it's great that I have that ability to do that. So or underwriter rather, say I can reach out to them directly, and we have a direct line of communication. So I mean, that's been one great thing about Province in general, is because we are a boutique lender, our lenders work directly in our main office. I can walk right down the hall and say, hey, I have this question, I have this scenario that I want to run by you. It's great having that, because a lot of places don't have that. You need a question from by the underwriter. Say you're waiting sometimes even days for an answer on that scenario. We have it. I can turn around a question usually about 30 minutes. So again, it's great having being at a boutique lender and having that opportunity, especially we're a small family-run shop. We're not owned by any big box, so it's been great.
So here we are in the middle of summer. Any fun summer plans for you and the family?
I'd say we've just been doing a lot of day trips with the kids. I'm actually down at my property in Connecticut today, down near Mystic, Connecticut, just kind of taking care of some stuff. We're going to be back down here, not this weekend, but the following weekend. So, just been trying to kind of get to the beach as much as possible. Yeah. Get out and see family. It's, again, it hasn't been any huge trips, like, overseas or across country or anything like that. But even just kind of getting out and about with I have 3 kids. I have a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So just making sure they're getting out, having fun, enjoying summer, getting out to see their friends, getting out to see family.
Nice. All right. John Shannahan, Province Mortgage Associates. Excuse me. Any last words for us today?
No, again, say Dennis. Obviously, it's a pleasure dealing with you and your company. Say thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to working with everybody in the future.
Thanks so much for everything that you do for us and for our agents and for our customers and clients.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dennis.
Thank you.